It feels poetic that I do another challenge run with the Sunkern on the channel anniversary. All of this started when I was poking around on YouTube and noticed that no one ever covered Pokemon Black and White. I figured that since the gap was there, I should fill it. Mistake number 1. Yeah, hold on. We aren't at that yet. We are here. The bedroom where we get the little gremlin. That is later, this is now. So how about we get this going so we can get there from here? Who cares if you're the weakest Pokemon? You're the one I picked and trust, so you trust me, and we'll do this together. Concerns? Well, I'm not going to use items in battle because I feel it's a little bit cheatsy, but it's just to highlight the power that's inside of you. No, I'm not taking the easy way out by trading you to another file to get moves and items that you shouldn't have until later in the game. Okay, yeah, fair, we did just lose against Charon, but you hardly can call that a fair fight. Just hold your head up high, Beatrice. We can get through this. Good. Let's get this journey started then. Taking a step outside, we do all of the normal early game things that Pokemon Black and White playthroughs do. For this run, I am picking Pokemon Black specifically because I don't want to face against Reshiram in the late game. That's the only reason. We get the Pokédex and breeze through Route 1 as we're not catching anything. In Accumula Town, we get some propaganda and face off against N for the first time. Thankfully, he isn't really a challenge, so we can move on to Route 2 right afterwards. It's here that we get the running shoes, which will definitely make moving around a lot faster. At the end of the route, we get into a rival battle with Bianca and quickly win it. Charon at the trainer school is another story. Breaking the #1 rule of thumb for rival battles, he leads with his starter. Given that it is Tepig, ow, we need a new plan. Going to the Dream Yard and fighting the trainers there, our Sunkern gets to level 13 and learns Grass Whistle. This 55% accurate move will put the opponent asleep for 1 to 3 turns, giving us time to use growth and deal a lot of damage. Rematching, we employ that strategy and after a few tries, take down the Tepig. Purloin follows but is no match, leading to a win and a gift of Oranberries. These can be held by Sunkern and are automatically used when at low enough health to heal 20 points. This will be useful in the first gym as we have to face against Chili. He will use a Pansear, which uses fire and is stronger than the Tepig that we just beat. The strategy is the same though, so instead of me blabbing on about the details of the fight, let me just show you with a little bit of co-commentary. You have a potion, right? A potion that you're going to use on the Lillipup despite it not being in red. It's close enough. Yeah!
Yep.
I'm so good! Wait, I don't think that's going to be enough. I think I just did barely below the damage threshold.
Ooh.
Okay, look. I'll just click Mega Drain again, and it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Jesus Christ.
One more hit.
One more.
Please, for the love of God.
It just has to not crit me.
Please, no.
Jeez.
It wasn't even crit range. Okay, no, there was nothing I could do there. Is that potion range?
I think it's slightly in potion.
No, it's not.
Really?
That's bad. I would have liked to burn the potion. Thornberry.
Grass will still hit again.
What?
I didn't even know that was possible!
What?
What happened?
What?
It just used Pickup in battle to rip an Oranberry out of the ether and just used it! What?
What?
I didn't even know that was possible.
I didn't know that either. What?
What?
I did not know about this behavior.
Why did they do that?
I had no idea.
What do you mean? Why would they give you orange berries for this fight? If one Pokemon burns in, the other one can yank it off of you.
Lol, Lamau.
What?
Eric is just a troll at this point.
Leads with his starter, which no other rival ever does, and then just gives you orange berries just for you to get rolled. Really? Okay, I see how it is, Sharon. I'm asking for some good rolls on everything.
Giving you all my luck.
Please.
I've been having a lot of good luck lately, so.
Last one. Please stay asleep. Okay. I think I'm out of one-shot range now. And there's no workups, so I'm not at risk of that. It's just a wake up into a crit. It doesn't matter.
Let's
We're
go!
free. We're free. I don't have to worry about this anymore. It's smooth sailing until Berg.
Yeah,
Oh.
I guess Berg is gonna be quite the iceberg to sink your ship. That one was a stretch. That was bad on my part.
That really was bad.
Look, I never promised that my puns would be good.
With that, we get the Trio badge. To progress, we need a Pokemon that knows Cut. Since I don't want Sunkern to be stuck with a move that we cannot get rid of until Mr. Alton City, I catch Rathika, the Patrat, to be used as a solution for this problem. We can then do a couple of battles with Team Plasma and move on. In Route 3, we encounter an issue. We have a required double battle. The way I solve this in Pokemon Emerald is by having my second Pokemon faint before being able to use a move. This minimizes the impact that they would have on a battle, and seeing as this is the only instance of a required double battle in the entire game, we are just rolling with this. Moving past it, we get into a third battle with Sharon, where he again leads with Tepig. We can reuse the same strategy as before, beat Team Plasma in Wellspring Cave, and get to Nakarine City. Trying to go to the gym, we get into a second battle with N, who is bested quickly. The gym itself is nothing too notable, but Lenora. Oh, Lenora. She has 2 evolved normal-type Pokemon. Evolved Pokemon are very strong. I do some level grinding again, but the amount of experience you get is pitiful. This is because Gen 5 reworked how experience gaining works, and it's just really bad for Solarmon runs. To add on to this, a lot of the items and moves that would be useful to us are in Pinwheel Forest after we beat the gym leader, but sadly not before. There is one exception though. If you go to this house and talk to the Ace Trainer, you can answer her question with Snivy to get a Miracle Seed. Holding this boosts our Grass-type moves by 20%, which will be a huge help for us. Taking a second swing at Lenora, knock out her Herdier, and the Watchog outspeeds, uses Retaliate, which is essentially a Rail Cannon to us, and we lose again! Solution? Grind until your speed is higher than Watchog. No, I am not joking. That's what you're supposed to do, at least. I, instead, didn't do that. Got lucky, with the rat using Hypnosis and missing for some reason, and then getting KO'd because the Retaliate wasn't as powerful. Well, I won't complain, so let's just get our basic badge and get out. Leaving the library, we see Team Plasma steal a bunch of bones, pursuing them into the forest, we get some more battles and also some various items that could be useful, but I never use any of them at this point or any point after, so here's a list that I cannot be bothered to read off. We recover the skull, chase Team Plasma to Castelia City, chase them out of there, and come face to face with the worst possible scenario. Berg's Bug-type Gym. He is not an okay fight to have if you're only using a Sunkern. So yeah, more grinding. All the way to level 33. Why level 33? Because at level 33, Sunkern learns Synthesis, an excellent move that can be used to stall out the battle. That doesn't help much though when Berg leads with a Whirlipede that can KO us in 2 hits if we are unlucky. Okay, new plan. We can get one item that is really useful. It's called the Eviolite. This item gives a massive boost to defense stats if the Pokemon can still evolve. Sunkern fits this criteria, so we will definitely make use of it for the rest of the run. Unfortunately though, that isn't enough, so we go back to the Experience Mines with I, and all the way to level 41 I go. By the end of all of this, I was spending over half an hour per level, which, thank you, modern Pokemon experience scaling. Okay, actually explaining the gym battle. Whirlipede sucks because Poison Tail has a chance to poison, and a 1 in 8 chance to land a critical hit because of increased critical hit ratio. I hate it. I wish I could set up on any other Pokemon, but there's other issues. The Dwebble Berg sends out afterwards is not fine for a single reason. Sand Attack. In my eyes, any move with less than 100% accuracy might as well be 0, so I don't want to even risk that. But if we want to add on a second reason, both Dwebble and Leavanny know Struggle Bug, which lowers our special attack 100% of the time when it lands. Given that we are a special attacker, that is a big problem. So I can't really set up on Dwebble because my special attack or accuracy will be lowered every turn, which just isn't viable for this fight. But say we do set up on Whirlipede. We aren't dealing that much damage, even with 6 boosts, because Whirlipede is poison and bug, and thus resists it by both types, and Leavanny is the same way. To add on even more pain, Berg has 2 Hyper Potions. With all of that being said, the winning attempt comes down to the final moments. We get poisoned early on, which is a nightmare for the ending. Through some miracle, we get a critical hit on our first attack against Leavanny, beating it out in a damage race. That gets us the win, the Beetle Badge, and the end to the most painful part of the game. Hi, this is me kicking down the door to say like and subscribe, and I have nowhere else to really put this other than here because, I don't know, I guess it's the hip and happening thing to just put it in the middle of the video. Anyways, with access to the later parts of Route 4, we get into another battle with Bianca and easily win, and then a 4th battle with Charon. This time he leads with his Pidove, which is evil. Pidove uses Air Cutter, which has an increased critical hit ratio. Pidove also has the ability Super Luck, which increases the critical hit ratio. This means we have a 1 in 4 chance to just get skill issued every turn. The Sandstorm on this route doesn't help either. It is damage over time, which is a bit bad, but the part that kicks you in the stomach is the fact that healing from Synthesis is halved. Thankfully though, I had a little bit of Super Luck of my own, figuratively, and somehow won on my first try. After that, we can bulldoze through to Nimbasa City, punting a grunt and grabbing the TM for return, an extremely powerful normal type attack. We won't use it right now though, but do keep it in mind for later. Going over to the Ferris wheel because we have to, there is a lore drop that N is actually a part of Team Plasma all along. Wow. Anyways, we fight him. He, for some reason, has Sigilif use Tailwind instead of winning, and then just misses Swagger. Good fight, I guess? We can then clean right through to Elisa, do the same strategy done before with all of the other gym leaders, and honestly have an easy time. Despite being resistant to grass, her Emolga still is taken down in 2 hits and doesn't even hit back hard. Substrika is the same way, even with outspeeding and using Flame Charge. After the last gym, this was a welcome breath of fresh air. So with that, we close out Elisa's fight, earning the Bolt Badge. Going off towards Driftvale Drawbridge, oh come on! A 5th Charon battle? Really? We're only halfway through the story! That's more Charon battles than gym leaders! Well, at least he leaves with Leopard, which we have an easy time setting up against and sweeping through. There's a little bit of a snag with learning that Torment lasts permanently for us, but it isn't too bad with Synthesis in our moveset to stall out in between our attacks. We then get into a fun little multi-battle, get to Driftvale City, and while beating trainers in the surrounding area, get to level 45. This is noteworthy as we get our final level up move, Seed Bomb. This 80 power physical move is a huge step up from the 40 power special move. How so? Well, in all of that grinding I did for Berg, a lot of the Pokemon I defeated gave effort values, which are a sort of hidden bonus stat, specifically to our attack. This makes Seed Bomb the obvious choice, even without the added healing Mega Drain gave. Anyways, after that we kick Team Plasma out of cold storage, and I'm not joking, we clean through Clay's gym because it's all ground types, and for once we have the type advantage. Or, you know, it could be the fact that we have an actually powerful move for once. It was actually so easy, in fact, that I never even had to use Growth for the gym fight. With Clay left in the dust, we get the Quake Badge and get a move on. Alright, another battle with Bianca. Next. A fair bit of warning now that we are on Route 6, you may encounter Deerling in your battles. In some cases, they will have the ability Sap Sipper, making them immune to grass-type attacks. To avoid an unwinnable battle, make sure to avoid these 2 trainers here. Moving on to Chargestone Cave, there's only 2 things to note here. The first is that we get the Lucky Egg from Professor Juniper. This will get us a lot more levels by the end of the journey, so while we will get hit a bit harder, this will be my go-to item for our Sunkern. The second notable thing is that we have another fight with N. His team is a lot more simple to take on this time, so we clean through him and make it to Nistralton City. While here, make sure to pick up the TM for Sunny Day. This synergizes with Sunkern's ability and gives a huge boost to the healing potential of Synthesis. We won't use it now as our moveset is solid already, but it is important to keep in mind. Additionally, now that we are here, we have the services of the Move Relearner. If we have to get rid of Synthesis, Seed Bomb, Growth, or Grass Whistle for any reason, we can now relearn it here. There are numerous ways to get heart skills like Wild Pokemon or Girl and Driftvale, so make sure to keep a good stock if you need to use this. To get to the gym, we have to climb the Celestial Tower and ring the bell, which we do. Unfortunately, that bell chimes an end to the easy times we have had since beating Berg. We now have the Flying type gym. Before even getting to Skyla, we have a trainer with an Unfezant. This beast of a bird hits hard and takes hits really well. Thankfully, there's a lesser known trick about one of the moves it has, that being Roost. The extra tidbit is that the Pokemon will lose their Flying type until their next turn. This is mostly useful for being able to use ground type attacks, but for us, it means that our Seed Bomb is no longer resisted, getting us a knockout. Now for Skyla herself. Okay, look. I'm going to break the sort of immersion we had going here and get real. I specifically chose to cover Pokemon Black and, by proxy, White, because it was one of the 3 generations that didn't have Double Team as an obtainable move until after the champion, like with Gold and Silver, or outright not obtainable like in Scarlet and Violet. I thought that there would be a lot more thought put into strategies while battling, but really it's just the same core idea of hoping Grass Whistle lands and then using Growth, rinse and repeat. Hope that you just don't get knocked out and luck your way through all of the battles. I really thought after Berg that we would have a lot more strategy for what we could do, and while, yeah, we kind of had that with Seed Bomb and going an all-out physical attacking sort of strategy, it just comes back to this every time. So, I'm not going to waste any more time repeating the same thing over and over again for most of this journey. So, let's just knock these out of the way. Skyla's Gym, the 6th chair in battle, Bryson's Gym, Team Plasma at Dragon Spiral Tower and at Relic Castle, the final Bianca fight, Drayden's Gym, and the 7th and final Terran fight will all be done the same way. If for whatever reason you want to see all of the nitty-gritty details of everything we skip over, the entire playlist of the playthrough will be in the description for you to view. The only things that are really noteworthy is that Cryogonal are faster than you think. Please, please, please get a Heat Rock from this Parasol Lady in the afternoon. The Opelucid Gym has a stretch where you have to do multiple fights in a row without being able to leave, and that Hydreigon are surprisingly about as tanky as Draudigan are. So with all of that skipped, we find ourselves about ready to take on the Pokemon League. There is a little prep I would like to do though in the form of grabbing every rare candy. Oh, why is the Trick House music here? Alright. Let's get this out of the way. Here's the location of each of them. One is at Route 2 behind a strength boulder, one is at Route 3 across a lake, one is in Pinwheel Forest, one is in Desert Resort. The potential for one at Anvil Town accessible by the train station is there on, I guess, certain days of the week. I don't know how it really works. One is at Route 16, one is at Lost Lorn Forest, which we need Waterfall to get to, which in turn means that we have to go to Route 17, I think, to get the HM for it. One in Mistralton Cave, one in the Charstone Cave, one in Twist Mountain, and one in Iciris City. Those both need to be in winter. And of course, one in Victory Road. Alright, so with all the prep stuff out of the way, let's step in and do the final part of this. Starting in Pokemon Black and White, we are given the option of which Elite Four member to take on at which time. This allows us to plan accordingly and adapt our strategy as need be. Looking at the 4 teams, I want to focus on defeating Chantal, the Ghost-type trainer, first. She has easy enough Pokemon to take down, and with no gimmicks, it is the obvious choice of the 4. As for the fight with her, she will just about always have her Rodriguez use Will-O-Wisp turn 1 if we don't land our Grass Whistle. Damage over time is annoying, but that halved attack is what makes me instantly reset. If and when you do KO, she will send out Chandelure next. Despite the fire typing, this lighting fixture's defensive stats are lackluster. We will need to put the Pokemon to sleep, but after that it is as simple as 2 Seed Bombs. Past that is Golurk and Jellicent. They are non-issues due to being weak to grass, so we can just secure the first of 4 wins. Next up is Caitlyn. She uses a slew of Psychic-type Pokemon, but that Sigilyph she has is what sticks out as a problem. Sigilyph is fast, and that Air Slash will hit hard, and on top of that have the potential to flinch. We can't use Grass Whistle on them either because of their ability to heal it off quickly. To make it more annoying, the Pokemon we have to set up on, Reuniclus, uses Psychic. Psychic has a chance to drop our special defense. Air Slash is a special attack, so if we have our stat lowered once, we have to instantly reset. That's all luck though, which we've seen before, so beating them both allows us to get through to Musharna and Gothitelle, clearing them out with ease, and wow, would you look at that, 2nd of 4 wins. Now for Marshall. Oh, Marshall. All of his Pokemon, besides his lead, have the move Retaliate, which if you remember from Lenora, is very bad news for us. Thankfully, he, for some reason, never picked the move when I fought him, so that's one issue out of the way. The second issue is speed. As it stands, we outspeed both his Throw and his Conkeldurr, but are in turn outsped by his Mienshao and Sulk. This can change, though, if Throw lowers our speed twice with Bulldoze, which is not unlikely to say the least. Why is that a problem, though? Well, that lies in the final issue, Sulk's ability. It is Sturdy, meaning that this Pokemon, in all likelihood, will land an attack on us before we can knock it out. If our speed is lowered from Throw, we will get knocked out by Conkeldurr because we'll be at low HP. Of course, you know how it goes. Luck wins the day again for the third of our 4 wins. Oh my goodness. Last is Grimsley, who is simple enough to set up on. Just do your grass whistles and growth, sweep through his team, and... oh no. Hey, so Crocodile outspeeds us and uses Foul Play turn 1 every time. What does Foul Play do? It pulls our stat boosts and applies them to their attack. The 6 boosts to attack that we put on us to be able to get to that point. That's a big problem. A really big problem. What can we do? Well, first of all, we can rule out Protect, Attract, and Grass Whistle as options. Protect doesn't solve anything, and we are outsped for our other stall options. As for attacks, none of our moves have priority to make us always go before Crocodile. There is technically the option of using Quick Claw as the held item, but that would make us extremely vulnerable while getting our growth set up, and there's a very high chance that it won't even help at all. Other than that, we have no moves that can raise our speed through stat buffs. Sort of. About half the time. You see, I was smart going into this challenge, and I made sure to get a Sunkern that had the ability Chlorophyll over one that had solar power. What Chlorophyll does is that it doubles our speed in sunlight, and we can learn Sunny Day via the TM that we got at Mistralton City. As an extra little bonus, growth does double the buffs if used in Sun, meaning that we can spend a lot less time setting up if we sacrifice one of our move slots for it. That is what we have to do though, and unfortunately, the only move that I can really see as being technically optional is Synthesis. I feel though that it's worth doing. So, with the skies shining brightly for us, we can get through Grimsley's team once more, and this time outspeed and take down the Sandcroc in a single attack. This gets us our 4th of the 4 wins, meaning that there's only one place to go. Walking into the champion room, N calls forth the castle to strike into the champion chamber so that we can have a fitting place to do our final battle. Entering the castle, there is a couple of things for us. In a complete shift from the past games in the series, you are actually free to leave and go back to the entrance of the Pokemon League during just this little part, but we can just go and get whatever moves and items and whatnot that we wish. Inside the castle itself, there is a rare candy that you can get, and I mean, it's a free level, why not? The one thing I am going to do to absolutely prepare is to make sure all 6 slots of my party are filled out with Pokemon. This is because of the legendary dragon that we have to catch. If we have an empty slot in our party, Reshiram will fill it and move to the front. We don't want that, and you could just lose the fight intentionally and deposit Reshiram afterwards, but I couldn't be asked to do that, and this is cooler. Now, for the final fight with N. He will lead with Zekrom and use Fusion Bolt on the first turn every time. This is actually his optimal Pokemon to lead with for us, as he'll just waste turns setting up Light Screen. Recycling our Sunny Day strategy from before, we can take down each of his Pokemon one by one. It gets close at the end due to his Curacosta having Sturdy, but with a lucky dodge against the Stone Edge, we get an easy win. But it's not over. No, not even close. Because we have a much worse battle. Getsus leads with Cofagrigus, and will always use Toxic the first chance it has. Obviously, it is horrible to set up against it, so we could knock it out, but then he just sends out Hydreigon, which is way worse for us. There is a solution, though. we intentionally lose in this fight and box all of our Pokemon. This will, for whatever reason, make Cofagrigus use Protect every turn. That might not be consistent if you try this for some reason, but it was consistent for me. Because of this turn of Protect, we can set up Sunny Day and start getting our growth stacks and preparing properly. But after so many attempts, it's clear that we just don't have a way to win right now. Toxic is just too much for us, and the sun won't last long enough to have us outspeed all 6 of his Pokemon. There's gotta be another option somewhere, right? There is. Remember that Heat Rock I dismissively got earlier? Holding that increases the duration of Sunny Day from 5 turns to 8 turns. That holds a better chance for winning, but even after some more attempts, it was clear that this wasn't going to work either. That was the case until this happened.
I'm trying to figure out what the heck what happened. What? Why did Cofagrigus Shadow Ball twice? Do I still KO without Miracle Seed? Well, that's a KO. This is turn 3 of the sun. That's Bisharp's defense. It's 100, but the HP is not much. Hydreigon's 92 and 90. I mean, like, okay, I've burnt. Turn on everything. Do I just win? That's how I win this challenge run? What? What? What do you mean? Rodriguez just sits there and uses Shadow Ball twice for no reason. Just lets me do the perfect stall into Hydreigon. And then I just sweep? Really?
So I guess that's the video. I'd cover the post-game, but we have access to Double Team now at that point, so I don't really want to. Maybe it'll be something I do on my own time eventually, but I don't think it's interesting enough to cover here. To my friends that join me for some of the recording sessions, I thank you. To PokemonDB, Bulbapedia and Serebii, I thank you for the graphics information and everything else I used in the video that wasn't of my own creation. And finally, to you, the person watching, I thank you for sticking around. I have been Generic Mystic, and until we meet again on the interwebs, and also, happy channel anniversary to me.